Good evening, everybody. Sorry, you've got to see this yet again. I know you're absolutely gutted, but these things happen. So I have a co-host.
Evening, guys.
He is real, and he, just so you know, we talk about him, and he pops up all these little comments and all these things he says. But yeah,
here I am.
Here he is in the flesh, because this is our last interview of the festival, and who better to have the amazing, awesome Are You Haunted team. I'm going to bring them all in. You know who they all are, and we've been very fortunate today because not only have we got them on now for the next hour, we've already had Wayne and we've already had Jane today, so you've had double bubble. Right. Hi, Wayne.
Hi, you guys. All right, Callum.
Right.
Hey, mate. How you doing? Nice to see you.
Yeah, good, thank you.
Hi, Dale. Nice to meet you.
Good evening. How are you?
I'm good, thank you.
Yeah, very well, thanks, guys.
And Jane.
Hi, Jane.
Hello again. Hiya.
Hello, Sarah. And Phil.
Good evening.
Hello,
Hi.
Hello.
Right.
how are we all? Thank you. Firstly, before I even ask you any questions and start waffling like I always waffle, you're all used to it by now. You've had to listen to it for the last 48 hours. I want to say from all of the team, thank you ever so much for taking part in this weekend's event. It's very much appreciated.
Absolute pleasure. Thank you for having us.
Yeah, thank you for having us, Callum.
We were going to have, as you guys know, but the audience don't, we were going to have Jessica and David. They have been looking forward to this interview all weekend and to be ending the festival for us. But unfortunately, they're having technical problems. I know they've sent me a message that absolutely gutted. They're not going to get to talk to you. So, and I'm really sorry. Like I said,
that means that we'll just have to do it again.
Yeah.
Oh, I love that. No, honestly, they've been looking forward to all weekend, and then internet and all that. So how have you guys been coping and getting on and everything with the current situation? Because obviously you're always so busy. Who wants to answer then?
Sarah can answer that. Sarah can answer that.
I knew he was. That's why I went to you. I knew you
Pass it to me. Pass it to me. Yeah,
well,
I've watched you in interviews.
She's the gaffer.
It gives him time to think of an answer. That's why. It's like, I'll put her on the spot. She can answer it first.
Hey, Wayne's gone. Wayne's gone already.
He's out of here.
Come back, Wayne.
He's probably sick of me.
Sorry. Power issues.
Do you know what? I mean, obviously, apart from not being able to get out there and do investigations and the filming side of things, it's not an awful lot has changed for me because I work from home anyway. So it's not like I've stopped going out to work or anything, because I've carried on working throughout all of this because this is my office here behind me. So I've kept going, but it's frustrating, isn't it? It's but at the end of the day, it's something that we've all got to get through. So we've been doing our bit, staying at home, and hopefully, fingers crossed, that we'll get through it sometime this point, sometime in this year, and we'll get back out there.
Yeah, let's hope so. We've all had enough now. We were saying earlier, we've been stuck together 24/7 for 10 long months. Yes.
I had lovely dark hair before lockdown started.
That's why it go a bit shorter.
Just stand up. I want to see what T-shirt you've got on.
Oh, it's a Ouija one.
Oh, right. Okay. Cool.
Get your planchette out.
That sounded wrong, didn't it?
It did, didn't it? Oops. You see, this is what happens when you get us all together.
We had this last time. I was offered, Daniel Claff from the Ghost Finders offered to let me touch his box and play with it last night. So it can't get any worse than that.
There's an offer for you.
I literally did that, Wayne. I'm so are you professionalism goes out the window with me, I'm sorry to say. But I did say to him that is an offer I can't refuse.
At least you've got some professionalism.
Wow. I pretend to. That's why we have Jo. She does that bit for the both of us.
Is that why you put us on last? Because you thought, oh, we'll get them rowdy guys on last.
Well, no, actually, that was me. I do all the schedules, and I just thought it was really. No, I really wanted you guys to end the weekend for us. It's like we've had Paul and Andy on this week, today, and yeah, I put the schedule together. And no disrespect, we love all our American guests. We've had a couple of them on again today, but for me, I wanted to end the weekend with some of our fantastic British TV stars.
Tennis in the post.
Phil said 20.
That's why Phil's not in charge of finances, isn't it, Sarah?
Exactly.
No, but honestly, thank you. We've talked about you, Sarah and Phil, today. We've talked about you when you were in the comments earlier when we did our paranormal panel. So
Yeah,
how
good,
long have you guys? Sorry, go on.
No, I said that was good. The program earlier, the paranormal panel.
You know what? I would love to take the credit for it, but I can't because it was Andy and Paul that actually we were having a conversation. Why don't you do a paranormal lunchtime lockdown? And I was like, a panel? And they said, yeah, I think it'd be a great idea. They didn't offer to organise it or help in any way. They just put the idea out there.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was a good idea, and it was nice to have such a diverse people on as well, with having Kieran and everything on with his opinions, and well, all of you really, because some things you agreed on, and you're not always going to agree on everything. So it's good to have that diversity, isn't it?
Yeah.
Anyway,
the good thing about Kieran is he kind of appreciates that as well, instead of kind of forcing his perhaps opinions on people or viewpoints on people like some might. Kieran's really accepting of everybody else's opinions and thoughts, so that's cool.
Yeah, we like Kieran.
Yeah, that's it. I mean, in the paranormal world nowadays, there's so many different types of kit and different ways people can work, and that's a good thing because every time you do a different location, each team that does it works in a different way.
Yeah.
And then it's interesting if you get to collaborate with other teams, then how they work and what they pick up compared to what you pick up at events to get like evidence and stuff. And I think that's a good thing about like having different opinions on kit and everybody not being the same and all choosing different ways of working, and it's beneficial for the whole industry, really, I think.
I think so. It makes the world go round,
Yeah.
doesn't it? Difference.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I agree with that. There's no right or wrong way. How can you say there's a right or wrong way when we don't know exactly what it is that we're dealing with? So,
Well, yeah.
Well, that's it.
Yeah, exactly. We were talking about this yesterday, and one of our other guests said pretty much what you've just said at the end of the day, and we all learn from each other as well, don't we? It doesn't matter how long you've been doing whatever you do, whether it's the paranormal field or whatever field you're in. It doesn't matter how long you're in it for. You're forever still learning, and it doesn't matter how long we do this for. We will never stop learning about things and learning about each other.
And that's what makes it interesting. You're always learning from other people and how other people do stuff, and that's what makes the whole thing interesting.
That's it.
See, and I'm always learning. That's why I have to do all this stuff, so I can learn from all of you. I'm still learning how to cook for, fend for myself and cook for myself and that sort of stuff. I've been trying for 8 years. One day I'll learn how to put the oven on and stuff like that.
Well, that's advanced. That's advanced stuff. That.
Is it? Oh, maybe I won't bother then. In that case, we got a few people commenting. Dave says we got lots of cute questions for the team that we would have asked. Hope you're ready, team. Well, come on then. I said, ask your questions. You've got a whole list of them they'd written, bless them. There we go. I'll ask Jess's questions, bless her, as they were looking forward to this. Can you tell us how you came to the idea of the back to basics approach?
You know what I'm going to say here, don't you?
Over to you,
Sarah can answer that one.
Sarah can answer this one.
Should we just mute him? No, I'm joking.
Mute me and then I can't answer. No, Phil, you answer this one.
It kind of started a while back, actually, a good few years back, and we were getting fed up with all the gadgets that people were using on the TV shows and stuff like that, and don't forget, none of the gadgets are actually scientifically proven to detect anything. I mean, yeah, EMF meter detects EMF fluctuations, magnetic field fluctuations, but who said that's got anything to do with ghosts? So Sarah came up with the concept of doing a back to basics investigation style, where we just don't take any kind of high-tech gadgets in there that you see on the modern TV shows nowadays. And we used to do an events company, so we used to run public events for people, and they were saying towards the end of when we were coming to finish the events, ghost hunting events, why don't you do a program yourselves? Why don't you do one yourselves? Because I'm sure it'd be better than what there is out there at the minute. And we did. And over to Sarah.
Okay, when we used to
because
do
people don't usually ask me that question, because Sarah's the one that thought of the idea, you see.
Yeah, but the back to basics element of it was really one, we wanted to be different from everything else that's out there on the TV. So it's quite difficult with a paranormal investigation show, because it kind of runs in the same sort of format. So we wanted to bring a different format. So we thought, well, we'll just strip out all the equipment and we'll go back to basics. So we have obviously got things like voice recorders, and we've got obviously cameras and things like that set up. So and even I think we've used thermal imaging. Wayne, you've brought your thermal imaging camera along. But when we found that we did the events, at the beginning of the night, Phil would stand up at the front and we'd have this array of investigation equipment on the table, and he'd go through every piece of equipment and he'd do a talk about it. And the first vigil, the tables would be empty. Everybody would go and grab something from the tables. The second vigils, you'd start seeing a few bits and pieces back on the table. And by the end of the night, more or less all of the equipment was back on the table, and everybody was just out there sitting quietly or chatting between each other. And that's when we found that we would get the most activity happening. It would be more interesting rather than just keep going over the same old sort of questions, all the time, and using the bits and pieces of equipment. But again, one of the main things for me is that whenever you've got something like a spirit box going that's quite noisy, if something else happens, you're not going to hear it because you've got this piece of equipment in your hand that's quite noisy. So you're going to miss audibles and things that are around you because you're spending too much of your time staring and listening to this box in your hand. So that was the sort of idea behind it. That was a long-winded answer. Sorry.
Yes.
Don't apologise. No, that makes total sense, because obviously that is one of the things. Sometimes, depending on location, we don't always use kit, do we?
No.
Not always. We do some of the old school stuff as well sometimes. It just depends where we are and if we're with the public or not. Because if we're on our own and we're just with teams and doing our own thing, we probably don't really use so much kit. But if we do a public event, because people like beepy things and flashy things and everything else, and something to concentrate on, we tend
to decorate the room with them.
Yeah, pretty much decorate the room.
Wow.
It is true.
Something in each corner, a doorway, and then cover all your angles and see if you pick anything up.
But no, I prefer more not really using kit. If you ask me how to use half the kit we've got, I wouldn't have a Scooby-Doo. Honestly, literally, I've got no idea.
Even a voice recorder.
No, I know I've got a new one. I know I can use that one.
I thought that might come out.
No, it don't come out. That's the problem.
It's always in a pocket. Always in your pocket.
Yeah.
I'm never going to live this down. Talking about recorders, moving on very quickly. Are you still using sound recorders? Chris wants to know, please.
That's one for you, Wayne, isn't it?
Yes, to answer your question, yes, we are using recorders. What we like to do is we've currently got the Zoom H5 and now the Zoom H6. and we put some external mics out on cabling as well. So what we like to do is try to cover every single room what we're going to investigate throughout the night. So they're already set up. So the thought tank behind that is when we go for breaks or when we leave that room, the recorders are still recording. So wherever we are in the building, it's always being recorded for the length of time we're there. Which then when we can go back, we actually find more stuff than what we were hearing with our own ears when we're in there investigating. So yeah, they've been quite effective so far.
That's a good idea, that. I'm stealing that.
You heard it here first.
Heard it here first. David says, going back to MH days during season 2 and 4, what was your most memorable experiences and how was it? And how was it all? There's a lot of words out. How was it to also work with Derek Acora? I felt very privileged yesterday because I did get to meet Gwen and ask her questions about him. So that was quite interesting for me yesterday because I know she doesn't really do interviews and things.
Yeah, Gwen's a lovely person. And so was Derek. But just going back to the question, I think one of my most memorable experiences does include Derek, actually. A couple of memorable experiences. The first one was at Brannigan's nightclub, where I was still very new to the filming and the crew. And we were upstairs. I don't know if you remember, anybody's seen it. We were upstairs and Derek was channeling through the entity of what's his name? Godfrey Parks. That was it. Godfrey Parks. And it was one of the first few times I'd seen Derek do this. And he came stomping around and he was walking, and basically we were all lined up as Derek was walking around in front of us, and he came walking up to every one of us and kind of walked over to me, and he was looking at me and was like getting kind of really angry, and I didn't know how to react, so I just stood there and kind of smirked, thinking this guy's going to clobber me in a minute because I'm stood here smirking at him, but I just didn't know how to react, and that was a memorable experience. And the second one, again with Derek, was in the basement of the Station Hotel in Dudley, and myself and Derek were down there doing a vigil, and we were just chatting away, and I looked over to the left, and at the far end, a ball of blue light, with my own eyes, a ball of blue light shot from left to right and vanished into the top corner of the building of the room we were in. And I was like, what the hell is that? And I turned to Derek to say, did you see that? At the same time as he turned to me and says, did you see that? And I was like, yeah, a ball of light. And he was like, yeah. And I was like, it was just a surreal moment that we both saw this blue light with our physical eyes, not with cameras or anything.
Yeah.
Go from left to right and vanish into the corner of the room. That was really, really weird. But yeah, they're two memorable moments.
Weird, but that sounds so cool.
And just to say, working with Derek was absolute privilege. He was such a nice chap, and he would do anything for you. And we used to have such a laugh. It was a great time to kind of be around Derek at that time.
Jess's question for each member of the team: what experiences have you had that have stayed with you? I can't get my words out tonight. Everything I've been drinking.
I think a couple of good people to answer this is Jane and Dale.
Yeah.
Go on then, Jane.
Yeah. They're right now.
I'll go to my most recent, and that was Wigan House, where I was with Phil up in one of the attic rooms.
You mean Wigan House?
Just chatting. That's what I said.
Wigan House.
What did I say?
No, that's well. Forget it. Wigan House. Wigan House. Go on. What was that? I missed that. What did you do there?
So
get on with it.
Having a little bit of banter, as usual, and I just can't work under these conditions with him. Can somebody take him outside? And I went to sit back at my.
There you go, Jane. Is that better?
And as I went to sit down, I looked through the doorway, and there was a man stood there, clear as day, as they say, in the dark. So yes, that will very much stay with me.
Dale, I think that's your cue.
Yeah, there's two experiences really that stay with me. The first, again, most recently being Tutbury Castle. With Jane, obviously being outside the gatehouse, seeing a figure as clear as day walk past me, probably only 30 feet away, walked from right to left in a real solid stride that I can't explain, and that will always stay with me as long as I'll remember. The other one would be at the Haunted Antiques Paranormal Research Centre in Hinckley, where I didn't experience it myself, but what was experienced was me screaming, but I didn't scream. Now, if you've seen the episode, you'll understand exactly where I'm coming from. But basically, Ben heard me scream, and he shouted to me and asked if I was okay. And I'm fine.
Ben was just at the top of the stairs, and you were in the next room. You were in the seance.
Yeah, we watched that.
Yeah.
I thought this sounds familiar.
It's surreal, and I can't explain how it happened, because I heard it back. I listened to it back on the video afterwards, and I'd have said it was me screaming.
Everybody said it was you.
Yeah, well, yeah, that's it. It was me, but it wasn't me. I didn't.
Almost like the spirit was like mimicking his voice, maybe, and just.
Well, yeah. Well, that's the only explanation there is, really. I'd say I can't explain it, but that will stick with me forever, as will Tutbury.
But that is interesting, because I heard you call me, and he's not even been in the house. He's been in the garage or in the garden or something, and I've heard him call me. I'm like, what are you calling me for? And I go around the house. He's not even in the house, but it's his voice.
Have you ever had that where you're asleep and you hear somebody say your name really, really clear, and it wakes you up?
Yeah, if you had it in your ear.
Yeah,
you're
really like, is that just me?
I had to do that about 3 weeks ago. I was like, I literally jumped, and I mean physically jumped, and what? Well, I won't repeat what he said, but what you're doing in so many words. And I went, did you not hear that? And he went, hear what? I went, did you not hear that voice? He went, hear what? He went, I said, someone's just blew me shouted in my ear. I said, he scared the life out of me. He said, was it? I went, I don't know. I'm going to sleep. He just turned back over.
Yeah, if he goes back to sleep and then I lie there awake, thinking, what on earth?
What just happened? If you lose them, I plot even more. Amanda's, well, when are you taking the investigations overseas?
Oh, Mandy, we'd love to. Hello, Amanda, by the way.
Hi, Amanda.
Hi, Amanda.
Mandy and Paul used to come on our events quite a lot when we did run the events. So good friends of ours. So yeah, it'd be nice, wouldn't it? We've always said that it would be kind of our dream to take our You Haunted over to the States and do some of the, do the circuit over there. Love to do that, but
we need a sponsor.
Yeah, we need a sponsor.
Anybody's listening?
Watch this space.
See, it's like you never even left. Look, no one noticed. He started cooking, and then then we came on. So they forgot the oven's still on and the food's in there. Going to turn it off.
He's just checking that your voice recorder's still there. He's just checking that your voice recorder's still in your pocket.
Sandra says, he's still talking with. Sandra says, are you on a brilliant team? I'm not so sure myself anymore. That is one of serious best team on Amazon and YouTube, in my opinion. Back to basics, it's more interesting, but it's always good to go back and listen. You never know what you caught, even when you think nothing's happened. That is true, like you were saying.
Yeah, definitely.
Thank you, Sandra.
Absolutely.
Yes, thank you, Sandra.
Thank you, Sandra. That's a lovely comment. Wayne, again, you can talk us through this next bit, because we've just been, our latest episode that we released, we had something very similar. Well, we had basically that happened. We thought we'd had a quiet night, didn't we?
Yeah, again, like what we were saying, Callum, about leaving the recorders on tripods and just leaving them in every room we investigate. When we were walking about, or we split into our little 2 teams, 1 team, whatever we do. We, in some parts, not all the way through, but we seen it very quiet, or we thought it was very quiet. And when we go back, we all troll through the footage and audio, and I did the audio. I can't remember what it was, 10 hours, 9 hours, whatever it was.
9.
Nine
As you kept
hours.
telling us.
Yeah, you made it quite clear it was 9, Wayne.
nine long hours. And what were interesting is when the guys were actually calling out in various places, there was getting responses, and we've actually captured some of them responses. And as what you were saying earlier, and that's what's interesting about it, is because if we didn't have that, if we hadn't gone back through all that, that evidence would have been missed off the investigation completely. And there was quite a lot what we found, what we're getting responses to the guys. And because we can link all the mic together, where everybody was to verify on camera where everybody was and what everybody was saying. So the actual voices we were getting, we knew were coming from in there, and responses to the guys' questions, which I just think is fantastic.
Wayne's frozen.
Wayne,
We can
Wayne
hear
is
you.
Yeah, right. When you went over your phone, it's really weird. We could still hear you, but there was just no movement on your face.
That's not a bad thing.
It's like you've had Botox injections.
Yeah, it's not,
First time he's been that still.
that's not a bad thing.
Do you have a favourite location, either through filming or just personal ones? Dale, should we ask you?
Yeah, I've got to say my favourite location has got to be Thorn Workhouse, Series 1, Episode 3. Where there's so much happened there that happened to all the team. Everyone had something happen to them, really. It's just, it'll go down in history, in the history books, basically, for me. I love that place. I'd love to go back.
Jane?
I do agree with Dale, but I also loved for the actual place, Otterburn Tower Hotel, the castle. I loved it there as well. Wasn't as active as Thorn. It was amazing at Thorn, and I really, really, really want to look at Thorn again. But Otterburn Tower is just beautiful.
Just to clarify, she really, 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 really wants to go there again.
Are you sure, Jane?
Apparently it's on her bucket list of places she hasn't done enough.
Oh no, don't see it. Because there's such a thing. There probably is actually. What about you, Wayne? Have you got anywhere different?
So many. I think from the Are You Wanted would have to be Penrith for me. The Audible, what we all caught near the bar.
Penryn.
Penrith, is it? Yeah, well, the one in
Penryn Old Hall.
Yes.
Penryn.
Yeah, Penryn. Sorry.
Yeah.
Yeah. The Audible, what we caught near the bar, will just stick with me forever. I mean, it was so clear. I actually would have said that I would have said there was somebody at the other side of the bar. It was fantastic, yeah. And it sticks in my head for forevermore now. So that one for me.
Who wants to go next, Sarah?
I think at the minute it's going to have to be the Keighley underground streets, which was the last episode, purely because, like we've just said, it was on the night. We felt it was we had a quiet time, a few bits and pieces, but nothing major. But having listened back to the audio and then the footage that we've caught on camera, the shape of it basically looks like a shadow person, which we never saw at the time. I just think that there's so much more to get from that place. I really want to go back there, and it's not something that as a series that we really wanted to do, is it? We said we wouldn't really go back to places because I've done that before with other places where I've done, and we've had such an amazing night at Nottingley Town Hall, for instance. We were years and years ago, me and Jane did Nottingley, and we had a great time, and then we went back and we got absolutely nothing. And that's always put me off going back to places. But because we've had that quiet time at Keighley Streets, now to go back and investigate where we saw the shadow figure on the camera and to try and recreate that, I think that as something we've got to go back there and do it.
Definitely.
Yeah.
What about you, Phil?
Yeah, I agree with Keighley Streets. I didn't think we got anything at that venue, to be honest. And that and Wigan House.
Mm.
I thought Wigan House was really interesting.
Great place.
So I'd love to go back to either of those.
Okay.
So just
And
going
back to the
back
birthday
to what Sarah,
wishes.
Oh yeah.
birthday. Just
Yeah.
go back to what Sarah was saying then about high expectations. A lot of people do tend to say that if you have too high expectation of a location, usually you never seem to get anything.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You're quiet. Yeah.
And is that a psychological thing? Do you think? Do you think the spirit maybe pick up on it and that might cause, or is it just your own personal?
I don't know, because if you go in, it's not a little. Yeah, I suppose if you're that hyped up, you're expecting something.
Yeah.
And I think it's always
I
best to
think
go to a location and not have any expectations.
Absolutely.
And just be a case of, if you get something, fantastic. If you don't get something, you've had a great night out and you haven't lost anything.
That was one of the things earlier when I was watching when you did the panel, and I think somebody said, "What advice would you give to somebody that's new, that's starting out?" And I think that you've just hit the nail on the head there. It's just to go in with no expectations, because if you go in with no expectations, if you get the tiniest thing that happens, it makes it such an amazing night, you know.
Yeah.
But if you go in thinking it's going to be like things flying around the room and right in the centre, then you're going to obviously going to walk away disappointed.
Yeah, and that's sometimes when some people go. Oh, sorry, Jane.
Sorry, I was just going to say that's why I prefer to go to uninvestigated or very, not investigated very much venues, because there's not been it's not built up its own ego, if you like. So nobody's expecting anything if they've already been in before. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's the sad thing though with some locations, isn't it? You think everybody goes to them because everybody else, oh yeah, well, we have this, we have that. It's like, it's always active when we go. And then somebody else goes, oh, rubbish, we didn't get anything, it was rubbish. But I think it also, personally, I also think it depends on your attitude as well when you go into a location.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Not just expectations, your attitude, it's the energy that you're taking into it as well, isn't it? Well, that's what I think. If you're negative or you're going with a positive attitude, I think that affects the situation and the location as well when you go on an investigation. What do you guys think?
I think
Dale,
at the end of the day,
anyone?
if go do exist, that they've been human ones, or the majority were human ones, so they're not performing monkeys. They're not going to, come and rattle the door just because somebody's asking them to if they don't want to. So I think that's an element of it as well, in my opinion.
Yeah. You've got to go into somewhere with a positive attitude. You've got to go with an open mind now. But again, this is what's been said. You don't want to go to somewhere we don't like going to places that's been overdone. For example, let's say 30 East Drive. Everybody's been there. There's so many reports as to what people have had there. So you're already influenced when you go in. We'd rather go to somewhere that nobody's done before, and then you don't know what you're going to experience. When you do then experience something, it makes it all the better. It makes it all more real, kind of thing, if you know what I mean.
Yeah. That's the other thing. Like I said, places that get overhyped, don't they?
Yeah.
We've been to a couple of venues before, and we've had to start for one reason or other. We've had to start really late, and we've been absolutely exhausted by the time it comes to starting the investigation and the filming. And I think that does sometimes have an effect, because our energy levels are just like, oh.
Park Hotel, for that was a late start, wasn't it?
Yeah, Park Hotel.
Yeah.
You put in, you get out what you put in, don't you?
Absolutely. Yeah.
That's something. I stole that because he said that earlier. Just saying. That wasn't my own thought. Chris, when are there going to be more content going onto Amazon Prime?
Very soon, actually. Within the next couple of weeks, you'll get another episode up there. In fact, I think the Sudbury one's being worked on at the moment. It's just the subtitling that takes the time to be done. So, but all being well, within the next couple of weeks.
The last thing is, unless you know about editing and producing and that type of thing, a lot of people don't realise how much work goes into it prior to going and doing the filming, and how much work goes in after. You've been and done it as well. And then deciding what content you're going to put into the episode. I almost sounded like I knew what I was talking about then.
You know what? There's loads of work that goes into it, and we produce everything ourselves. We don't have any outside company or anything like that. So it literally is everything that you see it's all filmed, everything's edited. You know, we do everything, and it is a hell of a lot. Like Wayne's just said there, he had, what was it? How many hours, Wayne?
9 hours.
Sorry, I forget. 9 hours of just listening, you know, through through on an audio. I mean, I do all the raw footage for editing. I get all the raw footage to edit down into sections. And what I do is I'll mark timings of things that take place. So whether or not it's an interesting conversation or whether we hear a noise or, you know, anything of interest that I think that could possibly go into the last, you know, the final cut. And then it all goes across the Phil, and then he gets it like this, and then he makes it like this. So he cuts it down again. So there's all of that. But like Phil was just saying there, at the beginning of the night, when we go into a place, we've got a lot to do as well. It's not just going in and getting straight onto the investigation. We film interviews, we do like the GVs just around the location. There's a lot to do before we actually get down to the actual good bit, you know, with the investigating. So it is a lot of hard work. So if anything, although we've missed going out, it's allowed us to catch up during this lockdown as well with where we are with things.
Yeah, just to give you an idea, there's more often than not in excess of 40 hours worth of footage from the different cameras we use, the handhelds, the CCTV footage, the interviews, the GVs, that kind of thing. So that all gets edited down to around about an hour.
I was going to say, people don't realise how many hours go into it, even before you get into the editing process and so on. Better ask Jess's question. Do any of you have any abilities she'd like to know?
I've got.
Dale has this amazing ability to fall asleep.
I was just going to say that I've got this amazing ability to fall asleep.
Why do you think he's doing this in a bedroom?
Yeah. After this, I'm going to bed. I'm at work at 11 o'clock tonight, so I'm literally going to bed straight after this to recuperate. Now, honestly, I have this amazing ability to yawn right at a crucial point, and Phil is awesome at pointing it out. Wait for the next outtake, you'll see. I think they can do an outtake.
We're going to do a montage of Dale yawns.
Yeah. Honestly, it's ridiculous as to that's my only ability, Jess. Nothing else, unfortunately.
Wayne?
No.
Not even yawn.
No. Are we just talking paranormal or anything else?
Hello. Hello, let's not go there.
That's for another day.
Yeah,
I'm just going to change that question completely. Moving on very swiftly. I don't even know what you're going to say.
Well, I got a clue what Wayne was going on about, but I don't know. It's probably why they do call him Donkey. But there you go.
Yes, as Dave said. Oh dear! I'm glad you. I hope you haven't come on thinking this is going to be a whole professional hour because you come to the wrong place.
What are you saying?
What about me? Let alone you guys. Has anyone been on an inspiration for what you guys do? So, who has inspired you?
Phil inspired me. No, honestly, I always
serious face.
I've always loved paranormal. I've always been interested in it since a young age. And I watched the first few seasons of Most Haunted for my sins. And then Phil came to work where I worked. And I was starstruck. It's like, oh my God, it's Phil Wyman from the TV. And that's really how I got into it. And in all honesty, Phil is a lot of my inspiration. He's got me to where I am today, and I can only be thankful for that.
Thank you very much, Dale. I'm shocked.
I do understand that, because when we met at Bosworth, I said to my mum, "Do you want some photos? I said, do you want some photos with Emma and Kira? And she went, oh, yeah. She said, I would. I said, yeah, you go. I'll ask them for you. Because I didn't want to ask you, can I have photos? I didn't want to embarrass you. Have a photo with you. Will you have a photo with my mum, please? That was my first, that's the first and last time that we met. So I was like, yeah. So, yeah. Admittedly, it's just because I didn't want to ask you myself and embarrass myself. So I put my mum in instead. So I understand that now. What about you, Jane?
Well, going back in the day, once again, the people that inspired me were from that early show. I stumbled across it by accident one evening, and I thought, I'm going to do that. I'm going to do that. I can do that.
Yeah.
The next morning, I Googled, found a group that was just setting up, run by Sarah, and went out and I ordered all the equipment that was available in the day and met Sarah, joined the group, started investigating, and we were doing a TV. We were on TV within 6 months, weren't we?
Mm.
So yes, that show once again inspired me to get into this.
This is a conversation like we had earlier that I think a lot of people were inspired too from the early days.
Yeah.
And like I said, regardless if you love or hate any paranormal shows, they do inspire people, whether you like it or not. You can guarantee everyone's watched at least one. Like I said earlier, everyone's watched at least one episode.
Yeah.
Mm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't believe there's anyone in this field that hasn't. Sorry?
Agreed. I mean, back then there was nothing like it. It was exciting.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I like the lives. There wasn't enough of those. Do you what? Just randomly. He's like, this is why he doesn't do interviews with me. She's like, oh my god, what is going to come out of their mouth next? I do let him talk sometimes too if he's really lucky.
Fine, you carry on. You do enough talking for both of us.
It is true. I'm not going to lie. Jeffels, to all of you, what has been your biggest challenges along your way in the field?
Staying awake.
Well, I wasn't going to mention it, but...
No, I'll let someone else answer. That was only a joke. I'm sorry. Go on. Someone else answer.
Go on, Wayne.
I think for the team, one of the biggest challenges is finding suitable venues or places to go investigate. I think that's the big one, because as we're all saying now that, you know, there's so many out there what's being done and done and done and done. The Are You Wanted team is trying to find places what's not known, and that is just a minefield, trying to get in touch with people, or people to get in touch with us about potential places to go to. That's one of the big things what everybody struggled with. I think we all agree that Jane did a fantastic job last year, and maybe someone should come up and beat that record this year. So if anybody is out there with any venues, please contact me, just me, not Jane. And yeah, that's the biggest fun for me, is finding suitable venues for us to investigate.
Oh dear. See, I can't be professional. I give up. What about the rest of you? Go on, Phil. Give us an answer.
I've not found anything challenging about it.
Well, that's not a bad thing, is it?
No. Apart from getting this lot to finally get an episode together, because as you can see, when we're all together, we're just like a big diggle fest.
I wonder what he was going to say. I'm going to have to drop him off the screen again for you, Jane. I was thinking.
No, I don't think there's any challenges from my involvement in the paranormal. So, I mean, I've been fairly lucky with regards to the TV side of things, but I don't think there's any challenges that I could actually list, to be honest.
Well, that's a good thing. What about you, Sarah? Same for you?
Oh God.
Dealing with us a lot.
Exactly.
Yeah, I don't know. I think probably the biggest challenge. Oh God, it's a difficult one to answer, isn't it? I think, do you know what? The only thing I'm going to say about this is that we all love so much what we do. We have had roller coasters up and down along the way, but we ultimately do this because we want to do it and we love doing it, and nothing will stop us doing it. And until the day comes where we don't love doing it anymore, we will continue. And that's all I'm going to say about it.
Yeah, well, you have to be passionate, don't you? And it is important. If you're not, then why you do it? You can't be. Everyone knows you can't be in it for making money or whatever else, because if you're in it for any other reason to being passionate about it and doing it because you enjoy it, then you shouldn't be doing it.
No,
sorry, but I'm just going to say it.
Yeah.
No. And I think, do you know what? I think probably now that you've said that, that's made me realise that sometimes I think because I am so passionate about it, that I do get quite pushy. I'm not going to deny that. And I have to rein myself in a little bit. Dale's nodding there, he knows, because
I don't know anyone else.
So was Wayne above you?
Was he? Because I think I sometimes forget that people have got sort of other things going on in their lives, and for me, because I do a lot to do with Are You Haunted, and it is, I love doing it. I love it so much that I forget that other people might be busy doing other things, so I have to rein myself in. That's probably a challenge for me.
I don't know anyone else like that.
Sometimes I get a bit obsessive with it, so I have to.
Yeah. Don't know anyone else like that at all. Much.
I just call it ambition, Karen. It's ambition, isn't it?
Yes, that's what it is. It is. It's ambition. It is ambition. I'm having that.
Yes.
It's not just agree. Listen, what has been your most scariest experience so far? We had this question earlier. We had some interesting answers. So,
well,
we've done that one.
We do that one.
Mine
you're going to stop stuttering.
Mine has got to be Thorn. Down that back corridor again with Jane. Pitch black.
Jane, it's always you.
It is.
It's something about you.
She's like a honestly.
You're down where? Some back.
Down the corridor into kind of cellar kind of thing.
Yeah. Down the back passage with Jane.
Somebody had to say it.
I'll say it.
And you're looking down the corridor, and the door was closed. The door was closed, and there was a light on behind the door.
This is how we learned what Dale's scream sounds like.
Yeah, this is Dale's scream, honestly. And all of a sudden, from nowhere, now there's 6 of us in the building at the time. 4 of them are upstairs, and then there's me and Jane downstairs. And all of a sudden, this door opens, and I myself, and I'll admit, I screamed like a girl. Won't deny it. That's got to be one of my scariest experiences. That really did frighten me.
Jane's still waiting to have a flashlight back as well, apparently, by the way.
Oh.
You missed that one.
Yeah. Moving on.
Probably better if you had that one.
Is it the snapped one? I've broken my
You see, this is why we don't do interviews together. How you do what? Oh dear. Sorry. Jess was just saying, I can imagine you get bumps in the road along the way in the filming industry at times, and it can be frustrating.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, you just keep going, don't you? That's the thing. It's you've just got to ride over the bumps to the smooth bit again.
Have you guys? Do you think you'll ever do any type of public event in the future?
We've considered it, haven't we? Yeah, we've been there and done all that. So, but a lot.
But I mean, the up and coming, budding people that are watching you on screen now and think, I want to be just like them. Now, I want to meet those people and work with them and learn from them. Why do you look so surprised?
Are you crazy?
God help them. God help them.
Imagine spending the night with us. I mean, this is only an hour.
Sounds great to me. So, if you got any, is there any location you're saying about going over to? You'd like to go to America if someone sponsors you? Just putting that there again. Sponsorship. So, where is it you'd like to go over there? Because obviously, we've spoken to a lot of Americans this weekend and heard about lots of different locations. Is there anywhere specific you'd actually like to go to?
Waverley.
Yeah, Waverley, Alcatraz for me.
East State Penitentiary.
Yeah, good one. Yeah.
Anywhere else, Sarah?
All of those that have just been said, there's loads, isn't there, that I'd love to do. Yeah.
There is so many there.
Yeah. I'm sure there's loads there that they just have so many that are like these big, massive abandoned prisons and
asylums and stuff like that.
And things like that. Yeah, whereas over here, they tend to get converted into things, don't they?
Yeah.
Like,
we were watching a couple of episodes of Destination Fear, and some of the venues on there are absolutely amazing.
And you got a month, wouldn't you? Some of them, it's like crazy.
Yeah, crazy, massive asylums and stuff, and prisons and things like that. And brilliant venue.
I just hope the sponsors got a few quid because there's a few we'd like to do over there.
Yeah, absolutely. Tombstone,
whilst wearing their t-shirt.
Right, that's so we have to put that out there now that you guys need sponsorship so we can get some American episodes on the go.
This interview is anything to go by. They'll be like, no way, they're coming over here.
Way too rowdy.
Blooming heck, not them, not. Well, I came up with an idea. I think it was Daryl Marston and I was talking to. Possibly, I think it was him or something. I came up with the idea of a power exchange. You know, like you've got student exchange.
We said
I
this.
thought it was a good idea, and they seemed to think it was a good idea because it's like George and Cara Shopler. I talked to them last night, and they were in California, and they'd love to come over here because of the history and everything else. I was well, funny enough, I was like, I came up with this idea. What do you think? That's a great idea. I'm like, okay, when do you want to exchange?
Yeah, definitely. I think we've something like that once before to somebody. I can't remember who we were talking to now. It might have been Courtney when we were talking to her about doing a power exchange. So yeah, I'm with you there, Karen. I think that'd be a good idea. We're in. We'll be in on it.
I think
if you have
us. Well, when they come over in September and you meet them and get chatting and you become best of friends by the end of the weekend, be sorted. Yeah, you'll be sorted then, won't you? That's my plan. Just don't tell them. I'm joking. So we have actually, Daniel Class has said to us, hasn't he, if we can get over there, then we're more than welcome to go to the Hinsdale House, place that he owns. And that's got some serious activity, so we've been told, over there.
Where's that?
The Hinsdale House.
Yeah.
Right, okay.
Wow.
And
it's going to be crowded with you two and Anna's lot, isn't it?
If you like, get you a room, don't worry about it. No problem. We get you in one of them asylums and we lose each other for like a week.
Yay. I'll lose this lot for a week, that'd be fab.
Let us out. That's the thing.
See, I love the way you lot are with each other, and that's why you work so well, and that's why you produce the quality of show that you do. It's because of the way you all work together and how you get on, and that's like really important, isn't it?
Yeah,
like,
and the fact that we all trust each other, absolutely to the max. So it's like even.
Oh, sorry, Phil.
Like I say, it's like when Jane saw that figure at Wigan House. We didn't see it, but we trust Jane implicitly that she saw it.
Absolutely.
Because that's the person she is. That's the person that we all are.
Yeah. If you've seen the episode, you can tell just purely by her reaction that she's 100% genuine with what she saw.
Mm.
And Dale
what
as
was
well.
You going to say? Well, yeah, Dale. I mean, Bit of a screamer, but yeah. On the investigations, Karen. Crikey.
Dark alleys, Karen.
I'm gone. I don't even know what I'm talking about anymore. I don't know. I can't even. You have to take over.
If you need anybody down a dark passage with you, Karen, Dale's your man.
Bring your voice
put on there that you guys would be awesome in America.
So make it so. Kelly, they need a sponsor, love. You got a couple of quid. Knocking about down the sofa. Pop it in the post.
Yeah, what was you going to say? I kind of cut. I kind of cut you up, didn't I? You were going to ask us how long we've known each other, I think.
Yes. Oh, good job you were listening, because I hadn't got a clue what I was going to ask you. I forgot already. Yeah, how long have you?
Too long. Too long.
Way too long. Yeah, less time for murder.
So were you friends and then you worked together? Obviously, Jane and Sarah, we know because, like Jane was explaining.
Yeah.
And you said you met on Most Haunted, didn't you? You said earlier as well. You dropped in the comments.
Oh, with Phil.
Yeah. How long have you guys been together now?
Oh gosh, forever. We met. It wasn't actually on Most Haunted. It was a mutual friend that happened to have Phil's phone number, and at the time, like Jane was saying, we'd got our own paranormal team, myself and Jane and a few of our friends, and we were investigating a nightclub in Newark. And I'd got Phil's number, and I'd kind of sent him a text saying, we're investigating this nightclub in Newark. I'm a complete stranger, but randomly you've just got a message from me. Do you want to come? And he did. So, and that was it. So rest is history, really. We went and I was saying this, I was doing an interview for somebody in the States the other day. And the weirdest thing is that because it was an investigation, I was recording it. So I've got the tapes somewhere. We're going back to tapes. You know, this is how long ago it was before your little micro cards. And I've got the tapes from the night that myself and Phil met. And I've never once watched them back because I just think it'd be so cringe, you know, watching it back the first night that we met. Where we just, oh, no. Maybe
have you been back there since?
What, to the nightclub?
Yeah, have you all been back there together?
No, we haven't. I don't even know if it's still there. Yeah, back down memory lane.
Nightclub days, what were they?
I've known Dale for about
16 years.
Yeah, something like that. 16 years, because obviously we 2005. Yeah. We worked at Vodafone in Newark together. Which is a long time ago.
Yeah.
How long have we known you, Wayne?
Well, weirdly, with Phil, and I've said this to Phil before, is I kept coming across him at random places, and one of them being Tutbury Castle. I don't know what he was doing there, but he was doing something there, and I was there. We met. And then I think it was on a MH Live as well, where he was just randomly walking over an airstrip, and we were eating some chips, and there was only Phil there. And then I think we came onto one of the events, about 2009, something around about there.
Well, if Tutbury Castle was 15 years ago, which one I think we're on about.
Yes.
Where I did that. There's a little fate thing going on, wasn't there?
That's right, yeah. So
I think it was 2000. So it'd be 2005, 6-ish.
Yes, somewhere about there. Yeah,
something like that.
Yeah, a few years.
Yeah.
Well, guys, I'm sorry to say that.
No, you're not.
No, you're not.
You know, one day I might become a professional, but I doubt it very much.
Yeah, we might.
Don't do it. Don't do it, Karen. Don't do it.
It's much more fun this way.
I want to say thank you to all of you so much. I really do appreciate you guys coming on and talking to us tonight. and taking part in this event with us and helping us raise much needed funds. Up next is actually the organisers and hosts. They've probably already started without me, but anyway, without us, I should say. So we're going to do.
We're going to eat our dinner.
We're just going to carry on, go and eat dinner first. I'm joking, not really. So we're just going to do a roundup of the weekend and get a final total. We have, and then I'll tell you what else is happening, because this 48-hour event, it's us. Of course, it's not a 48-hour event. It's not finishing now at 7 o'clock. It's not finishing at 8. It's not finishing at 9. It's now finishing at 10. Surprise, surprise. So we will fill you in. So go over and join Jolene and the rest of the gang, and they will tell you why we're on till 10 o'clock now. Thank you, everybody, so much.
Thanks, Karen. Thanks, Eddie, for having us.
Absolute pleasure, Karen. Thank you, and well done. You've done a grand job.